Get ready to jump into battle with your wrench and hammer to batter the living daylights out of any creature that walks into your path of destruction. Hello you beautiful people, I'm Pat Curley from the Republic of Players, and today we are going to be looking at the top-down action-adventure game Sparklite, and see if the game is worth buying or not. The story of Sparklite is a rather simple one. You start off in your airship only to be caught in a bad storm and end up taking your escape pod before crash landing. From there you begin to explore the lands of Geodia with your trusty wrench hammer. However, things become serious as you fight against the self-proclaimed Baron and his minions as he tries to take the core of Geodia to become overwhelmingly powerful to reshape the world to his will. It's up to you as Ada to stop him and stop the end of the world. I swear, the end of the world happens every week in a game. Soon everything will be about the end of the world. You blink, end of the world! Failing to pour cereal perfectly into a bowl, end of the world!
Fuck.
The story isn't that engaging overall. It's probably the game's weakest segment in my opinion. There's no real draw to it and was more of a guideline to follow to complete the game. It's not a bad story, it does its job and that's about it. The gameplay of this game is definitely its strongest asset. Sparklite has really fun gameplay, from traversing around on foot or boosting along with your rocket boots, which make for a smooth movement system during combat and when doing platformer segments. You then have your main weapon, which can change between a wrench for quicker attacks or a hammer to slam down on your foes and unleash a hefty amount of damage. You then have gadgets which can be discovered throughout the land as you explore, from being able to swim and dive, to shooting arrows or even lightning bolts. I didn't really find myself using the gadgets that often outside of a puzzle here and there though. They didn't really feel all that effective against enemies. You can find a plethora of items to aid you throughout your journey, from mines to blow away larger rocks, a boost of speed, and health packs, just to name a few. These are very handy features to help you get through sticky situations as well as find areas that are hidden. You have enhancements that you can add to your character as well. Extra health, dish out more damage, more energy to use gadgets, or practical things such as a map of the land when you go exploring. All these things can be made in the Refuge, which is a small cluster of floating islands where you help out the inhabitants and in turn, they help you. You collect Sparklite throughout the game that you can use to upgrade the area and create new gadgets and so on and so forth. The only real problem that I had with this hub area is that I feel you're supposed to care about these people, but there isn't enough there to connect to them in any meaningful way. All the mechanics come together to make an intense combat system that is fluid and a blast to play through. Especially when you get ganged up on or when you reach the later stages of the game where enemies begin to get drastically stronger, that I found some monsters harder to kill than the boss fights. But that is one thing I actually must give some praise to: the difficulty. There are 5 areas in the game that you traverse through, each with its own boss. With each area the difficulty gets ramped up to the extent that near the end of the game, it's a struggle. It gives you time to grasp the controls and evolve with the difficulty along the course of the game. Now, the big bad bosses work in a similar way. They get progressively harder to beat, and while they start off simple, they are a joy to jump into and take on. And a special shout out to the final boss battle. It's on another level compared to the rest, and is super exciting to take on, and is well worth getting to. A big part of this game that will keep it fresh throughout your playthrough is the map is always changing whenever you die, making it so that you never get familiar with a layout and will have to explore to find the routes and areas needed to proceed. I felt it was refreshing as the map itself isn't that big in the grand scheme of things, but with it being different every time, it really makes it feel slightly new every time you go exploring, even though it's the same areas that you have seen just mixed around. The graphics are just lovely. The retro style is charming and the design of the world along with the characters and enemies was done fantastically. There are 5 different areas as mentioned earlier, all being distinct from each other, from the forest area you start off in, to the sandy deserts and the snowy mountain area. The soundtrack is okay in my opinion. It's relaxing and upbeat, and can bring in the strong and fierce battle music for the boss fights. But it won't be something that I remember. It worked well with the actions that take place on the screen. It does its job effectively. Overall, Sparklite is a good game. It never really engaged me, and my experience with it left me feeling indifferent. It has its enjoyable moments from its boss battles, combat, movement, and a wonderful art style. However, it just didn't connect with me. Everything else in the game just felt average. So, is it worth getting? Yes. It's no, you need to buy this game now. But it is good, and with how short it is, it might be a game that would be worth taking a break with from all the big games that are coming out. Sparklite gets a recommendation of buy. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out what all we have going on the channel, from our podcast, first looks and reviews. And if you like talking video games, be sure to follow us on social media and our Facebook community. Links will be down in the description below. I've been Pat Carey from the Republic of Players, and until next time, have a good one.